the masses. Running the game, but when I spaz, they blame it on lactic acid. Cause they know I'm automatic, I don't miss, they move the basket. They say I'm out of my mind, but I'm the one who's conscious rapping. Living way below my means, avoiding baby mama advances. Thinking for myself and not getting tricked into political stances. Dumb antics, trigger words, gaslighting or semantics. If America's printing money, then why the hell am I paying taxes? Global warming's real, detrimental and problematic. But I'm not buying an electric car, cause all they'll do is control and crash it. Like the stock market, first destroy the nuclear family. The women are easier targets. Call it toxic masculinity until they needed to fight the wars they started. Incentivize single motherhood, then promote it through the music department. And call Dax trash and thought-provoking music literal garbage. No wonder the youth are so lethargic, soft, easily influenced, lack stability, self-awareness, and guzzling Ritalin. ADHD is overdiagnosed. Kids don't lack focus. They've had an iPad since 2, and that algorithm's potent, but I can pick up the crop that they use to cook propaganda. Microdose through the media, poison, mislead the youth. Make them believe, distort their realities, bend the truth. Water down education, take the God out of schools. Have you worshiping idols to push political views. I'm a renegade for what I say, not what I wear. The car I drive and the money you think I got to spare. I'm called to duty, I'm modern with all my warfare. But I don't get paid by the devil, so when my million's there, there's no gravity, weakness, or any atrophy. I invest in myself, my stocks rise, and it actually bonds people together. I mutually fund humanity. Bank on Dax, it's tax-free to gas me. This new election got me pondering things inside my mind. I'm taking President Trump in the game while biding my time. They all want World War III, and I see all the signs, so I'm mass shooting these bars. My columns bind, take your brain and free it, transport it to another place. Has your speech free if you can't speak, if they disagree. I see OnlyFans models grossing hundreds of Ks, but you get canceled for agreeing with Tristan and Andrew Tate. Atomic, a bomb like Oppenheimer. My stake in the game is a harsh reminder. The beef I cook is the rarest kind. They label me major, but always minor in the flow tactics and promotional styles I used to engage the masses. Running the game, but when I spaz, they blame it on lactic acid. Cause they know I'm automatic, I don't miss, they move the basket. They say I'm out of my mind, but I'm the one who's conscious rapping, living.
Everyone's getting brainwashed, it's scary how they label the truth a conspiracy theory. Government's lying anytime they're speaking. Slaves to the money, we ain't got no freedom. They drop bombs, stop families breathing. And every time they talk, the people believe it. We got smartphones, but the people are dumber. Life's a bitch, you know I fuck her with my rubber. Protected, I meditate with this ganja. But I'm paranoid, I can only trust my mother. You get me? Drink away the pain with the Henny or the Remy. With the Henny or the Remy. Believe in their lies, you couldn't pay me or beg me. They all jokers, like Lenny Henry. The MPs are puppets, they don't do nothing apart from do crime with no repercussions. Parliament full of crooks and killers, and a judge got the cheek to throw the book at my niggas. George Bush, Tony Blair still ain't got a sentence for killing all the Muslims with no repentance. They don't care about us, they pretending. They say I rap real, but I'm just venting. Divide and conquer.
And alongside two former heads of the CIA, including David Petraeus, who was head of the CIA from 2011 to 12, and the former head, George W. Bush's head of U.S. National Intelligence, John Negroponte, who has a pretty unsavory history in Central America as well, if anyone wants to look into that. So these are really, really unsavory people connected to deep parts of the state that he was serving alongside while he was in Corbyn's cabinet. Now, this is where it gets important, because we know that CIA was trying to sabotage CND, Michael Foot, and other left-wing forces in Britain in the 80s. We know that. That's come out. We don't know what they were doing during the Corbyn years, but we know that Mike Pompeo came in 2019 and was recorded saying privately, saying, "We will do our level best," that's the quote, "to stop Corbyn getting elected. It's too late to try stuff when it's already happened, so we'll do it now."
And he spoke about a gauntlet being laid out, which implies that they had knowledge, at least, of traps and obstacles that.
Of course, I mean, CIA are they're veterans in overthrowing and overthrowing democratic governments that are not conducive to the US interest, but also sabotaging political projects that are not conducive.
And as you mentioned before, there are documents indicating that the CIA were at least watching or tracking Corbyn since, what, the 70s?
This thing is found all over the world. I learned from this. I didn't understand how widespread it was. I didn't know that there was a mystery of it. I know something about sacred geometry as a kind of spiritual geometric thing. We can talk about it later. Terence has a couple of ideas, maybe three. One of which is, maybe it's not about that flower of life because that's in a two-dimensional plane. Maybe that is a shadow cast by something in higher dimensions. And it's a cryptic message from an advanced consciousness that will open its secrets when we finally understand it. Now, there was something, for example, called the Antikythera mechanism, which is a bunch of gears found by this Greek island of Antikythera. And famously, it was just in the Athens Museum.
It predicts the constellations.
We didn't know that. There were two cats who really focused on it. One was named Derek de Sola Price, and the other was Richard Feynman. And they were obsessed with it. And it turned out that that thing completely rewrote our understanding of how much ancient wisdom and knowledge there was, because this was a mechanical calculator for understanding the positions of celestial objects, far more advanced than we had any.
Druidic religion, the ancient Druids, was the magic wand. Merlin the magician with his magic wand. Remember Mickey Mouse with his magic wand? Magic wands were always made out of the wood of a holly tree. It was made out of Hollywood. They're still doing their magic in Hollywood, and we don't even understand what the word means. Hollywood is the wood of a holly tree. Holly is important to the Celtic Druids at Christmas time. Hollywood. The magic of Hollywood. It's Druidic, Jewish, Masonic symbolism. And then you begin to understand why MGM, finally it begins to dawn on you, why MGM has the roaring lion. That's right, the roaring lion is the sun in the constellation that begins summer. Summer begins in Leo, the constellation of Leo, the lion of the tribe of Judah. The Lion King. He is king over the northern hemisphere and over the earth and over Europe. And the first day of summer, which is in the constellation of Leo. He's the Lion King. They still make movies about it.
In Egyptian temples,
Yeah,
everything,
I have
break
heard
it open,
that, yeah.
still 100% good.
Really?
Yeah, so honey, it cannot, microbes, bacteria, nothing can form in it. Well, what they've recently figured out is it's essentially sound frequency that creates the honey, that the bee's wings. So when a bee goes and pulls the pollen out of a flower, and he goes into his hive, the flapping of all those wings together creates, so the sound actually creates that hexagonal shape, those little hexagon, the honeycomb
So
looking
the
things.
frequency coming off of their wings is essentially creating that snowflake
creating
effect.
that effect.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, as they're vomiting up the honey, essentially, into those combs, as the frequency, it purifies it in a way and preserves it to where it cannot be touched, dude. Wow. It's the most purest, and it can give all kinds of nutrients, good bacteria.
Very quickly. On this engine, the main tools are the springs. They push the curved shaft against itself, and so a moment of force is created. According to the laws of physics, it's impossible to create a perpetual motion engine, but this mechanical engineer has done it. This self-taught bloke breaks all the laws of physics. He's invented something brilliant, the perpetual motion machine, the mechanism of this generator of infinite energy from nothing. I think you understand. If you connect a generator to this engine, we don't need any petrol, and we don't have to pay any more money for energy. Look at how this engine picks up speed very quickly. On this engine, the main tools are the springs. They push the curved
that the state of your mind makes it so. Nothing is impossible.
I got more money than I've ever had, so I can take some more pain. Pain is the motherfucking essence. You know what I'm saying? That's the petrol, that's the everything. So I function in dysfunction, and pain is art and life is suffering. A wise man once said that to me. Your pain is your art and your life is suffering. But then, because you suffer, you will create this art. I got more money than I've